Hello, sorry, we have network issues. Sorry. I'm very sorry, we have like network issue that cut off the thing. Sorry. Sorry for that. Please, Dr. Osas, if you are there, sorry, please can you come back live? Send me a request. I'm sorry. We have network issue that. Sorry, Dr. Osas.
Yeah, I mean,
We have
I didn't know.
we have network issue.
Oh, okay, it's fine. I'll round
Uh,
up soon because I think I've been saying a
no,
lot.
no, no, no. You are not saying a lot. This topic is summer wide, and I want you, even though if possible, you can take your 1 hour. I'm with you.
Okay.
Please
No,
let us
so
start afresh because I'm sorry I I cut off that one. Please let us start afresh. Dr.
start
Sars,
afresh.
please can you introduce you? Yeah, let us start afresh. Sorry for that,
Oh,
sir.
start afresh. Oh wow. Okay. Um, I didn't know where I started from. But okay, I'll try and connect my thoughts. Okay, here, my name is
Okay.
Osazoe Godaro. My name is Osazoe Godaro, and everybody calls me Osas, and my Oga calls me Doki. So,
The key.
Doki. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I was discussing about the sickle cell disease prior to the. Okay. So I now have to start over again. So I know I've said a lot.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, sir.
fine. So the sickle cell, I actually started with stating the fact that there's a difference between the sickle cell disease, the sickle cell traits, and sickle cell anemia. And I mentioned that sickle cell disease is a spectrum, what we call a spectrum. It's actually like a group of diseases where, I mean, there's a group of diseases that is associated, is a group of diseases that are associated with abnormal, that causes abnormal cells in the hemoglobin. So that brings us to hemoglobin. What is hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is the oxygen carrying component of your red blood cells. Where are red blood cells? Red blood cells are in your blood, and that's why your blood is red. So part of the cells in the blood includes the red blood cells. The red blood cells are very important because they carry oxygen around the body. So if there's an issue with the red blood cells carrying oxygen to the tissues, so if tissues don't get oxygen, they get to die, they get to not survive. So if there are now issues with the hemoglobin that is involved actively in carrying this oxygen, then there's going to be a lot of kasala in this case. All right. So I also mentioned that sickle cell trait is a condition in which it's a gene that carries the sickle that can manifest that sickle cell disease. And I mentioned that this trait could give rise to other many types. We have the sickle cell, we have hemoglobin SS, SC, SD. Yes, that and the commonest in Africa, which we are more involved and interested in, is the SS, which a lot of us know. And I also want to state clearly that saying someone is a sickler is quite derogatory, and it shouldn't be said because it's quite demeaning. So rather, even as practitioners, we'll tell people that patients living with sickle cell disease, not this one is sickler. You get, so it's pretty much important. And I talked about the epidemiology, saying that it's said that 1 in 365 people are at risk of having this condition. And Africa, blacks are the major grunts of this. So what causes this? It's actually an alteration in the gene. You understand? And what is gene? Gene is our genetic makeup. My gene is different. That's why you now say genotype. Look at the word genotype. Gene type. Yes, that's where genotype comes into play. So I'll just try and, as I said, briefly bring it up by saying that when people have two similar, I mean, what this sickle cell gene causes is the fact that the red blood cells have the ability to pass through small blood vessels in our body. But in sickle cell disease, in normal human being, in normal red blood cells, for example, the red blood cells can pass through those cells, those blood vessels uninterrupted. They are quite flexible. They pass through, they come out. However, in the case of sickle cell, they have lost that flexibility. So they're easily fragile. So instead of passing, some of them they block, they stay at those particularly tiny capillaries. Capillaries are like small blood vessels, and they stay there. They are not able to move to the other side. So this is what they do. They are they are not moving. They are preventing others from moving and preventing energy from getting to the other side. So it's back and forth. You understand? So that's typical of um, that's typical of the sickle cell disease and what its influence on the red blood cells. Then I now mentioned the fact that there are many manifestations for patients who are bearing the gene. So when someone is bearing the gene, is guess that you are. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so um, the sad thing is, in the long run will also affect other systems in the body. So patients who have sickle cell disease are at risk of having stroke even at the younger age. If I was in the hospital and they bring a child to the emergency department and he has signs and symptoms of stroke, I would most likely be thinking of sickle cell. That's why I must do the genotype. Then it can also affect the kidneys. It's good at affecting the kidneys. It can affect the liver. It can affect what we call the spleen, and when it does, it causes many pathologies. So most patients are prone to having some form of infections. There are times when um, they could have issues with the spleen, and the spleen will just disappear after a long while because of the several deaths that are occurring in the spleen. And when I mean several deaths, I mean the cell deaths within the spleen. So, having said that, I would also want to state clearly that the one that we are actually focusing on, which is the hemoglobin SS, affects every system, and they usually would come with crisis. Starting when the patients are in crisis, and the commonest crisis is the vaso-occlusive crisis. What does it mean? Vessel blocking crisis. That's in simple terms. Vaso-occlusive crisis, vessel blocking crisis, and that's usually associated with pain. And that's why any patient that we see that is manifesting these disease conditions, we ensure that they get a lot of pain medications. So part of the key in managing patients with this is pain medications. Then aside that, we also ensure that they stay hydrated, drink a lot of water. And I know that we've had this discussion severally where I had to talk about water. Water is a blessing to everybody, and I think we should all enjoy it. Hallelujah. I said hallelujah. Sorry about that. It's a good Friday. It's a good Friday spirit. Then I also mentioned the fact that there are other manifestations, particularly about the HBSS, which is the fact that the patient can come down with what we call the aplastic crisis. All the red blood, all the cells in the body, both the ones that are fighting, those the ones involved in covering injuries, those the ones that are involved in transpiring oxygen, they are all down. Do you understand? Like they are all down. They could also come down with other crises, like when the spleen becomes bigger, blood will just go and hide it in spleen. It becomes so big, called splenomegaly, big spleen. These are pathologies or these are conditions that can be seen in patients with sickle cell crisis, sickle cell disease rather. Then I would also state clearly that these are the general symptoms. The question is, are there advances in medicine to prevent this? There have been a lot of advances. Part of the advances is what we call the stem cell transplant, in which they will carry some cells. Usually, these cells are seen in newborn babies. All of us had it when we were in the mother's womb. They put it in the bone marrow, and it will go a long way, but it's quite an expensive process. And it will help to bring normal red blood cells and not abnormal red blood cells in this context. Then there is also other advances by giving some medications that will try to um, you could detect it yourself even while in the mother's womb by doing a specific test. It's called the chorionic village sampling, and it's quite an expensive test, I must state. It's very expensive. And it's a test that involves taking a part of the baby's cell, checking it under some specific test regimen, and the person will actually detect it. So that now brings up the topic. When you find out that the baby has sickle cell disease, are you going to abort the pregnancy, or then beyond that, it's now something that we tell young couples that please always ensure you check your genotype. Always ensure you check your genotype. It's important because um, the the pain the children go through in their lifetime, the number of admissions, the number of blood transfusions, it's a whole stress on the child itself, talk less of the parents. You understand? So it's something that you should do in standard labs and ensure that this is done and repeat it if need be, because it will not change. You understand? I know that there are divine aliens, but it will not change. So it's important these tests are done and you get to confirm it to prevent stress on the child. You understand? Because these children get to miss school always. They get to be admitted always. They get to be on meds always. They get to be rushed to the emergency department always. I mean, most doctors, particularly most of my colleagues, they get to see a lot of them many times, and they have several complications that has come from it. I remember stating earlier in the discussion that there's what we call chronic leg ulcer. Part of those features is the fact that they have what we call chronic leg ulcer, where they are unable to heal properly from an injury. And this is because many of the other cells that are involved in this are already weak. You understand? So healing is an issue. Even if you look at it literally, you need energy in your body. So also your cells in your body need energy. So imagine that there's a blockage of this energy bringing um, energy bringing cells. There's a blockage. You understand? And this energy is important for healing. How will the healing come into play? So it's a whole lot to say that it's a huge task on the child as well as on the parent. That's why we advocate that please ensure you do your genotype. And thankfully there are several NGOs. I've been in some NGOs where we're trying to raise awareness as regards sickle cell disease. We raise as much awareness as possible so that people would know that it's important you check it and save your child to come. You understand? So we could say people who are bearing AS, for example, they are carriers of the sickle cell trait. You understand? We advise them not to marry AS. Why? Because if you look at the genetic makeup, they're at risk of giving birth. There's a 1/4 chance of giving birth to a sickle cell disease patient. So if an AS marry AS, it's the 1/4 chance from giving birth to sickle cell disease patient. There's a 2/4 chance of giving birth to a patient with carriers, and there is a 1/4 chance again of giving birth to a child that doesn't have any form of sickle cell disease or sickle cell trait. But the question is, it's all probability. It's not cast on stone. There are families that are giving birth to all their children are AA. There are families that are giving birth to all their children from the first to the last are AS. There are families that are giving birth to all their children SS. You get so the question. So you don't want to take that gamble. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So having said that, I think I've talked about the fact that it's quite important these sensitizations go out there and people get to know that it's better to prevent it. Because if you don't get into the marriage, you're going to save yourself cost. You're going to save the child emotional trauma, emotional stress. He's supposed to be with his colleagues. He's supposed to be playing with his classmates, but he's already on admission. receiving pain meds, receiving fluids through the vein, receiving so many support and stuff like that. And parents get to skip classes, miss schools. Do you understand? So that's the thing called the major issue of sickle cell disorders and sickle cell disease as a whole. You understand? So I think I've mentioned bulk of the thing. I don't know whether you have any question at this point.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Thank you very much, Dr.
Yeah,
Osas. The
sure.
number one question, me too, I have a sickle cell senior brother. He has late. But why is it that Africa are the one in this? Why is it?
Okay, that question, I can't categorically answer that because I don't know why. But I mean, I think probably there will be a lot of researches on that. But the fact is, yes, the Yoruba scientists believe that the children they call Abiku in the western parts
Yoruba?
of Nigeria, yes, are possibly sickle cell disease patients. So
Yeah.
that's the belief. So imagine, I think when it comes to disease as a whole, so diseases are commoner in some countries than the other. So you can't really ask why. Like now, if I were to talk about cancer, for example, there are some kind of cancers that I'm not even going to think about it in Africa because the risk of having such cancers are so rare. But if in other parts of the world, probably in Australia, in the US, those cancers are common. You understand?
Oh, okay.
So there are
Yeah,
some things
everybody get their own country. Every
exactly,
country get their own problem.
exactly. If I were to mention other types there are some abnormalities of the hemoglobin. I talked about hemoglobin as the oxygen carrying component of the red blood cells. There's what we call thalassemia, for example. I would not come to Nigeria and expect to see a patient that has thalassemia. It's not like it cannot occur, but it's
It's
too
real.
rare to occur in Africa. But if I were to go to Asian countries, I have it already in my head that it's a possibility. And being that it's a possibility, I have an high index of suspicion when I want to make such diagnosis. Do you get my point? So it's I can't really tell you why it's common in Africa. So I
I know,
mean,
but okay, there is no reason. There's no. Sorry
yeah,
to answer. I'm a kind of person. I'm local.
yeah,
I'm a local man.
yeah. Go ahead, the next, yeah, sure.
Is it alternative medicine like herbs that I know that you're a doctor, you're a medical doctor, that there is an alternative medicine and herbs. You may not see my face, but I'm hearing you. Go ahead, doctor.
Um, is there an alternative I mean, the question is, what are you looking for alternative medicine to do? Is it to prevent the production of these red blood cells, or is it to treat the condition? Um, so, so if it's to prevent, sadly, the from from the assessment, it's highly unlikely to have a medicine. There is no medicine that would prevent it as such because it's a genetical. It's down to the genetics of the person. So it's down into the genetics. It's down to the cells of the person, and not necessarily the okay, good. Can you hear me? So it's down to the genetics of the person. So you can't have you can't have drugs to affect, except you want to have drugs that will affect the genes down to the genes, which is really hard. And I'm not much of a tradomedical doctor, but I doubt if there's going to be any tradomedical management to it, except you want to use tradomedical to manage the complication, which is rare, but it's highly unlikely because most of the tradomedicals have not gone through so many testings to know its effect on the liver, its effect on the kidney, and these are places where complications could occur in this situation. So
Okay,
it's
thank
highly
you very
unlikely.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Is this thing hereditary? Let me tell you the
Okay.
reason. When I want to get married, I do my test. JJ, I carry myself personally, go do my test. The results come out, said I'm AA. When I want to do my wedding, the church said compulsory, I must do their own test. I went to their lab and they did it. Maybe one day I was just thinking, I was confused about the results. They said I'm AC, but my wife is AA. The results from the first lab that I did, that my wife also do that time, correspond with my wife. But my own with their own church did not correspond. They say me, I'm AC. AC was saying that my A is not dominant. The lady was just speaking one big grammar. And the judge said, oh, no, 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 there's no problem. You can go ahead and marry herself because she is AA, me, I'm AC, according to them. And because I did not buy into that idea. Later, after some years ago, I went to another lab in Abuja. I do it again. They said I'm AA. And I want to go to another lab again now. I'm going to another lab again. If another lab give me the same results that I've been given, that designing, because out of all my family, I think I'm the only one that is having AA. All of them are AC, AS, because we have 2 sickle cell. 2 of them are late. Because they don't go dating now. Are you with me, sir?
Yeah.
Therefore, and let me ask that question. Does it change?
Okay. All right. So let me just address it. First of all, is hereditary? Yes. If a man is AS, his wife is AA, there is a chance that the children, one of the child will be a carrier. AS is a carrier of the sickle cell trait. So one of the child will be a carrier. You understand? That's 1/4 of the child. So, but however, 2/4 rather. However, so it's actually from parents to offspring. So it's highly hereditary. It's not something that you pick on the streets. It's not something that you pick from anybody. It's hereditary. So it comes from parents to offspring. So whenever a child comes, we also will check the parent's genotype, just to be sure.
Okay, please, doctor, don't. Sorry for dragging a little bit. Please, you said when the father is, let us say, a father is AA.
Yes.
And the mother is AS. There is still probability for to have sickle cell?
No, to have a carrier. So what I mean carrier,
okay, to
AS, for example, means that he has one normal gene that will produce A, and he has an abnormal gene that will carry the S. But it will not necessarily manifest the condition.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting you. Being a carrier and a victim of sickle cell. Sorry, let me use that English. Doctor that online. Doctor that online, don't insult me. I don't go school plenty. Be and victim of sickle cell. Is there any difference?
Yeah, there is difference. There is a huge difference. So for patients who have the full-blown genes, maybe SS, SC, he manifests the symptoms, the crisis I mentioned earlier. For those who are carriers, they necessarily will not manifest it throughout their lifetime. Though there are some conditions that increase the risk of having, but they will not come down with the crisis. It's rare, in fact. You barely see patients in AS manifesting it or AC. You get my point. Now, so that stands to say that it's highly genetical. It's more of what we call a genetic abnormality. But now, bringing it on to your case that you have had several tests done, I'll boldly tell you that it's important to go to labs that are, I won't say valid lab, they're original labs or federal, great labs or good labs. I don't have any in mind.
I have one in mind. Good. National Hospital, Abuja.
So, because okay, yeah, good. So there are many things that could affect the results. Sometimes it could be human error, it could be machine error, it could be reagents. For you to run this test, you understand? Go to a standard lab to run this test. It's not that it's changed. Your genotype did not change. It just happens that it most likely was an error along the journey. So you need to go to a standard lab to confirm what your genotype is. Your genotype did not change. I know some will come and tell us that divine healing, but this is not a religious setting. But the point is, go to standard labs and have this test done. And the good thing is there's a repeatability. You can always repeat it. You understand? So you are going to National Hospital, for example. You do the test and you confirm it. You go to another hospital that will not want to fall their hand, probably University
No,
College Hospital, Ibadan, or Federal Medical Center, Jabi. Those ones will not want to fall their hand. So definitely the test. But like I said, the reason why you probably had all these normal results within the course of you going to do it was probably as human error, machine error, reagent error. It wasn't properly read. Those are the issues. But thankfully your wife is AA, so there's nothing to worry about as regards that. I hope I've answered
and
your
my
question.
daughter, yes, and your friend, my daughter, she's AA
Oh,
because she's sick when she was very small that
yeah,
time.
yeah. So you have
Therefore, they say we
to.
should run the test. Yeah, they say AA. Therefore, as they were saying AA, now I'm just looking at them. Make my pikin just well, make I dey go my house. Thank you, doctor.
Yeah.
And again, because by the grace of God, the my vision personally is to have an NGO. By the grace of God, I've registered one.
Okay.
Until when I register one, but I'm sorry, all the people that are watching us, I've never said somebody should donate money, because you know that this internet stuff, if you're not careful, some people can be using your image
Yes,
to
yes.
rob people. Although I've set up my plans, I've set up everything, although I will need a donor. Because to run an NGO in Nigeria, bro, if you do not have better name, I mean, you have a big name, you know people a little bit, you may not be able to succeed. Throughout this election, I spent personally close to 1 million naira for sensitization. Because we must get it right. And I've never regretted once. I've never regretted. Me, I believe in this country. And I'm still saying it to my friend and my loved ones. I don't have any ambition to contest for any office. I want to be doing these kind of things. That is why I call it the voice. To just give people voice and to be aware of different voice. And God will help us. And sorry, I've registered an angel. Until I register finish and I know that you cannot do a lot of things on the platform angel. You just delegate yourself on 2 or 3 things you want to focus on. Therefore, I've signed out the 2 or 3 things I want to focus on that one. I want to register another one. I'm still working on that one. But I want to know when you're doing something for do one and get the way out and let people know you very well. And by the grace of God, I have volunteer that has been helping me in that aspect also. I have a friend also that always also in my dream. I'm also working. I want to work with them a little bit to get some experience. He has an NGO on this sickle cell. See the sensitization of this thing. Why this thing is massive in Africa? From my own view, me I know the doctor, but it's because there is no this sensitization. And I'm a Christian, very good Christian. I'm a good Christian. Don't insult me. If you insult me, I like you like that. I'm a good Christian. And faith. Me, I'm not doctor. I'm just saying why it is. There is no sensitization, especially in Africa. By the grace of God, maybe in some months ago, I want to visit some African country. I'm not visiting big African country, and I'm not going to a big place. I'm going to their remote area. There are some places even in Nigeria, if you enter even in this so-called city Abuja, there are some places in the Abuja that to have access to hospital, primary health care, you waka. Are
Yeah.
you getting me? And in that kind of and our culture, a man that just pick a small girl saying won't marry him, does he know the health? Does he know anything? Are you with me? Thank God for our religious leader now that even in mosques and churches, they are go and do this test, go and do this test, go and do this test. We thank God for that one. Even some people that will say, you understand that, but in those those advanced countries, you still do it, even though you are caught. You are
Yeah.
in courtship. You will be asking the question, well, this or this, as now they talk, I got a man. But in Africa, are you seeing it that the sensitization is not much? What do you
Yeah.
see about my
I
speech?
agree with you the fact that sensitization is normal. But thankfully, thanks to the internet and media, there's been a lot of sensitization amidst some of the youth. But I don't think it's still enough because just as you said, going to the rural areas is more important. So if you go down to some sites, if I had to mention a village for you now, when you talked about Federal Capital Territory, there are actually some places in Abuja that, I went to, I've forgotten the site, somewhere in Kuje or so. Before you
Right.
get to the primary health care, you drive kilometers. And we got to the primary health care, nobody was there. Do you understand? So the question is how do they even get information? So, and you're actually right. I think there's a lot of sensitization that needs to be done, particularly in the rural parts of Nigeria, not only in cities. But people in Core Abuja or probably in cities, they would definitely know about this. But people in the interiors where you have to drive many kilometers before you can access health care, they are at risk of continuing in the Abiku mindset,
Yeah, yeah.
except information comes to their desk, except messages come to their desk. And I mean, I know some NGOs that are already involved, a couple of friends, yeah, having NGOs there and there just to increase the sensitization and information that is being spread out there. But I feel that a lot needs to still be done. And who will do it? People like all of us and everybody
All
that is
of
there
us.
every discussion.
All
So
of
we
us.
have to
The,
spread
the,
information.
by the grace of God, with this one, I'm going to work on a project on that, by the grace of God. Because out of the voice, number one, is sensitizing on politics and policy, making
Okay.
awareness of things. Therefore, on top of the NGO, the Voice Life Leader Foundation. Therefore, I'm going to work on that one. But because some of these things are not in big, it's not a big money, but it still involve money. Because number one, we need also, from our own area, we need to pass information in the local dialect to the people.
Very true.
And we are missing something as a nation. I'm not bringing down our country. I love this country. I love this country. I never collect visa to travel out. I'm not sure say I could travel. If I could travel now because of my picking. And I know go stay here long. No, that's just truth. I'm landlord here. The issue, we are mixing something in our nation. The use of our traditional rulers. Because by the grace of God, I'm going to visit the rural area in this month, one big village. I'm working on it. If I go to that village, I know they go see anybody direct. I'm going to the palace. I pay homage to the kings in that palace. Even that father, I cannot speak the language very well. I'll look for an interpreter. Tell them my purpose of coming to the village. Are you getting me?
Very
If we
well.
can use that one also, because it's not about to just go and tell people on the street of Abuja. No, those right, go use their kings, use the palace, organize this workshop, say it in their language
So they'll get the message.
to get the message. In China, they know they speak English, oh. They speak Chinese.
Yeah.
The issue is that, and we should make sure that in our educational system also, it may be included. I mean, in a primary school, it may be included. I mean, in government school, there should be a talk show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in
Yeah.
government primary school, a talk show. In government secondary school, a talk show. Because if you come across this in primary school and come across this in secondary school and you go to your village, you can see somebody that come to your palace and invite everybody out. I know in Nigeria, you can't just invite anybody without not bringing something, especially in Africa. You must bring something. That is what will make people to come out, to come and listen to you. If it's even toothpick, you carry come, people will listen to you. No, I'm not saying that we are very poor like that. We are rich. We are a very, very big country in
You're
Africa.
very rich.
But therefore, if you go with something to the palace king, as you are going and they see you with some goodies, you are coming, people will come outside to listen to you. That is my own aspect of it, because I'm working on a journey. As we are talking, before we talk finish, because I have a lot of friends that we are working one or two things together. And I know that we are going to get there. And as many people have, because now, people like small NGO like me like this, to get donor is very difficult.
Mm.
To get donor is very difficult. Because even to observe the election is difficult.
Mm.
My NGO did not observe. I work with some group of people in observing the election. And sometimes I'm talking to the youth of this generation, ready to also learn also from people. Because if I just said, okay, I want to observe, even till now I've not get the ideology very well. I'm going to use Kogi governorship election to do my test run, to get more exposure about it. Are
Yeah,
you with me?
yeah,
Therefore,
very,
I think we just need, as many of you in the diaspora, be praying for Nigeria. Be praying for Nigeria. And you too, I'm very grateful for you also, because you are with your time, your data, you come and educate us. And I'm putting this thing on YouTube. And Dr. Osas, one
yeah.
of our videos is one of the grow watch hour. He gave me one watch hour and one subscriber on YouTube. I'm grateful for that. Sincerely speaking, he gave me good watch hour. And by the grace of God, on this round, on the 4th of this month, I get to 10,000 viewer. 10,000 viewer. I'm grateful to as many people that watch our video on YouTube. And that last video, I was 60 follower. By the grace of God, today I was 160 something follower on YouTube.
Yeah.
And but there are reaction. Bullying is there. Please don't just my. I saw a lot of bullying under my comments. I saw a lot of made. I mean, I'm not even care. I enjoy reading it. God bless you.
Thank
But we
you.
still need to work more. We still need to work more.
Yeah,
Thank you for your time, because this, you are doing this thing free. You've not, anytime I send you a message, you reply me, even though if you don't have time, we fix a time, because in your place, now to work to get the money.
yeah,
And
sure.
bill the day. Bill the day.
You know how it
Bill the
is.
day.
Yeah.
Bill the day. I always mean, Dr. Sass, I'm very grateful for every time you spend there. And by the grace of God, any of our friend has an NGO also, I'd like to me one or two things. After the show, we'll talk
All right.
personally. We'll still talk personally.
No
I still need
problem.
to put on some things for it. Yeah, but by the grace of God, we are work as an Africa. We are going to build this continent. Nigeria, you'll be great. Take it or leave it. We are coming back to the extent that the European country will be looking at us. Will not be borrowing money. Will be borrowing money from us. We have what it takes.
Yeah, we do
We
have
have
what
what
it
it
is. We do
takes.
have what it
We
is.
have what it takes. It's when we get it right. And we cannot get it right in a day. I always tell people, we cannot get it right in a day. Some people will tell me, Wale, you are afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not self-speaking. Doki,
Yes.
have you seen me like this? I know remain for us. I'm not afraid.
Yes.
I will say the truth the way I see it. But I will never, I'm an African guy. I'm a Pan-African guy. I will never insult somebody. That is what me I don't like about social media now. Some young guy will just come, look at their, like, even though if our fathers do something wrong, there is a way we can tell them that
Yeah,
this thing,
man.
you did not get it right.
Yeah.
It's not that you say this man is stupid. No. Let us forget about that. I know it's also crashing cruise because we have a lot of problems we are facing as a nation.
Yeah, just trying
Therefore,
to be happy.
just time to be happy. That which we are here to be happy also. God bless you. Dr. Osas, as many people that have watched the video, I want people to also to know your state, because this you are doing also humanitarian work for me as a person and for Nigeria as a whole, and for Africa as a whole, and for the whole world that are watching you. Which state are you from? Because maybe you will be the next commissioner for health.
Oh, really?
Well, even if they give you maybe commissioner for health, because see, we want people in administrative. Everybody can never be a politician, but we want people in administrative that can make it work. Me, I'm not going to politics, and I'm not going to politics.
Yeah, I guess.
For now,
I'm actually
change
from
is the one
Edo
that is
State.
constant.
Yeah, I'm
You are
actually
from where?
from Edo State.
Ah, you are my brother, Adam Soshomale brother.
Yeah, you can say that again. I mean, I'm from Edo State, yeah.
Yeah, you are from Edo State. Where is the senatorial district?
Okay, now you're going to shoot me on my leg.
I want to shoot you on your
Yeah,
leg.
I think I used to know it, but I can't vividly remember now. But yeah, I know that I'm from the other side. Yeah, I can't vividly remember. But yeah.
But what about your village? I mean your
Yeah,
town.
I sure do.
Sorry.
I know my village. I know my village. I do know my village. I've
You are
not
from
been
which
there.
village?
I know, I even know my local government. Yeah, I know my local
Tell
government.
us your local
Ah,
government.
is it part of the discussion?
It's part of the discussion.
Well, I'm actually from Umote local government, so of Edo State. So that's my local government at the
Okay.
point.
Good to have you on the show. Good to
Thank you
have you on
very
the show. And
much.
I'm
So,
grateful to you. I'm happy to have you on the show. I did not take this place. I did not take it as a just no. I take it very, very important. I honor your comment. And do you have any advice for African country, for our leaders on this reduction, because we cannot clear it off away from Africa, because this thing has been part of us. Are you with me, sir?
Very well.
This thing has been part of us. It's just that we can reduce it, and I know it's reducing small, but we still have it. We still have it. What is your own advice as a medical doctor?
Well, I would say that um, there's a lot to be done in Africa, not only in Nigeria. And I feel that the earlier we realize it, the better for us. I feel government needs to wake up and respond to its citizens. You can barely see, in comparison to other African countries. I mean, here I barely see people coming from South Africa. Why? Because I think they're self-sufficient, meaning they have all it takes. The government is taking, they have all it takes to take care of them. I've barely met any South Africa. I've met people from other countries, but I've not met people from South Africa. That's because they have a system that works. And why do people leave Africa to develop climes is because these are places that things work. So it's safer to say that ensure that things work in its basics, basic amenities, light, health. I would always canvass for health because I've
Yeah,
seen
doctor.
the worst of health and I've seen the best of health in Nigeria. And trust me, the comparison, the disparity is quite huge. So I feel that given its citizen the basic amenities, health, light, water, it's going to go a long way to increase the productivity and it's going to actually better the nation. That was just my advice to about probably yet in the
Okay.
next couple of years or couple of months. Guess.
Thank you very much. And let me now ask you a question. Why is the cost of health, like now you are saying that there is a way, there is some text that somebody can run to know maybe the child is sickle cell.
Yeah.
Is and why is it so much expensive in Africa? But I've never traveled out. Anyhow, my first traveling now maybe it will be Cotonou. Cotonou guys be expecting me in some villages in your place. I have a content to run in that place. Cotonou or Ghana. Why is it that it's so much expensive? Is it because we don't have manpower or why?
Well, I would say that from what I think, and this is just my opinion, I feel that the reason why some of these things are quite expensive and easily run in Africa is because getting some of these equipments are quite expensive. And even in a developed climes where you think it's not expensive, it's expensive. Let me give you instances. If you want to have someone to do a CT scan in Nigeria, it's quite expensive. I remember then it's probably like 50, 60K. I don't know the price now. But here, it's not like it's not expensive. It's just that they have insurance. Health insurance can just pay. Most people can just
Okay.
walk in, and if you have a reason why it should be done, nobody's going to fight it why you shouldn't do that test. You understand? So the bottom line is health is expensive worldwide, but other governments have found ways of reducing the cost.
Subsidizing it.
Yes, like in the UK, we talk about the NHS. The NHS does not, I mean, anybody can have access, be it big or small, in social care. Also, in the US, you have your health insurance. If you are earning good money, you have your health insurance and they will pay for you. Do you understand?
Like
So,
like person like me that I don't sick always like that.
I mean,
Is it
when
compulsory
you
for
need
me
it,
to do health insurance?
it's,
Is it compulsory?
I am not in the US, but I think it's highly recommended. I mean, I'm not in the US, but so those are the
No, in
things we
your
talk
place, in
about.
your place, in your place, in your place, Gongo. Is it compulsory that I
You don't pay for health insurance. All you just do is register your name and go to the hospital. If you're not feeling fine, go to the hospital and you don't get to pay. It's free.
not free?
That's the thing. It's the NHS.
Okay, if I have the NHS, but they will do be
It's
reducing
not the
my
NHS.
salary.
The NHS is the NHS. The NHS is the National Health Services. They take charge of everybody. So it's not like an insurance in itself. It's the service that provides healthcare to everybody.
Okay, like the service is it's not that you'll be deducting it from my salary, deducting it from my.
but funded by
It's the
taxpayers'
government that provide that one for
money.
us.
So your yeah, it's a tax that is funding it. So
Okay, it's for our tax.
yeah,
Okay, but we
yeah,
here
so
too
it's
with the pay
government
small
driven.
small. Here too with the pay small small. Ah,
Yeah,
we dey pay oh. We
I
are
know.
paying oh. I know the
Yeah,
amount our company. I know the amount our companies pays to internet generated revenue.
yeah,
FRS we
most
pay
probably.
monthly. Our VAT. I know we have, but thank God for that one now. And
Yeah,
the way forward in Africa, the way forward in Africa, from your own view, is a we are blessed in different way. See, I love the medical aspects. I go to I'm not a kind of person that go to hospital like that. But if somebody is sick in my house, I will quickly carry you. For me, I'm a kind of, because I was trained by an old person. Sorry for that, doctor.
yeah.
Is there any way we should look in house as a country, as a continent, to also do to tackle this? I mean, research.
Yeah,
I don't believe that we can make our own research and do it in our own way that we can tackle it.
okay, just like you said, talked about NGOs and its funding. The question is who's going to fund the research? You understand? And if Nigeria puts money into research, particularly health research, they'll go a long way to reduce. I mean, you get locally made stuffs, locally made equipment, locally made drugs that is going to actually help. But many of us, many research bodies don't have that backing, which is huge. So I agree with you that if you go a long way to change disease, not necessarily sickle cell disease in this case, but all other
Yeah,
diseases, as the case may be, you get the point.
that means I get the point. Now, what you are telling us that the funding of research is not much.
It's no, it's not much. I mean, it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. By the grace of God, we are looking into. Oh, I will still talk to you after the show. Sensitization of telling our government also to fund the research, because the issue is that if you keep on talking, keep on talking, one day the message will get to them.
It
I
should.
don't believe that yeah, they don't listen. They listen. Our leaders listen, and they travel all over the world.
Yeah, sure.
Are you with me?
Yeah,
They travel all over the world. Our leader listens. I don't believe that they do not listen. Therefore, what I have against some of our people that are patriotic about this nation is that they they don't they believe that yes, we're supposed to like get it right now. Yes, they are right. For me, I don't believe like that. I believe in stage. I start
yeah.
I start this Instagram thing one day. I sit down on top of one chair like that. I start them. And by the grace of God, since August, I start Instagram till now. I know the follower I've gotten.
Yeah.
I saw my consistency in it. I can't compare myself with Tunde Ednut. Am I okay? Are you getting me? We are comparing ourselves with big country, Australia, UK, US, yes, China. No. But if you keep on talking, if you keep on, like now, I rushed to this place so that I'll be able to jot something down. I'm jotting it down. After the show, I will call you. We'll talk on it.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
I've already have in mind. Okay, sensitization. I will do a skit. I will write an article. I'll ask somebody to interpret for me now, sir, in Igbo, in Efik. Are you getting me? If it's going to reach out to 10 people in rural area, let those 10 people to carry the message up and down. That's how we can make ways. I know that we'll still look for a platform that will still be talking to our government, people in charge of power, minister of health, that send money to research. And people like you are also in diaspora, that you are also helping us, giving us some vital information. Let us also have a room also having it at the back of our mind that let us also look for impacts also in Africa. Are you getting me? Not
Yeah.
only in Nigeria. I'm not dreaming only in Nigeria. My dream is not Nigeria. I'm dreaming all Africa. Me, I'm Pan Africa.
Important.
Are you with me, sir? Therefore, that means to say we need a sensitization group also to tell our government about that, funding the research.
And you know that, see, Dr. Osas, you know
Yeah,
that our government pump money out
yeah, I
a
know.
lot into a lot of places. But some of us, I'm not trying to insult myself, but I'm trying to tell us, some of us in our realm of power, maybe now you are from Edo, we make you Minister of Health. And you are from Edo State, we make you Minister of Health. Do you know that some people will say it's our turn? I mean,
Yeah, I'm
why?
looking.
Brain of people that surround you that can make it work. Among team that I work with different across the Niger. Brains that are surrounding you that can do it, you ignore them because it's my brother. I bring him, I give him the money for the contact to go and buy this machine. He go to China, I tell them, China, do the 1 or 20 naira. Are you getting me? I'm not trying to bring down any country down here. Are you with me? The issue is that I'm also sending a message to us as a nation. We should be sincere and be loyal to our country, to everywhere we are. That's all. Or do you see anything in what I said
Yeah,
now?
I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's good. It's time. Let's get better.
Yeah, yeah. And doctor, sorry for this thing. I'll still drag you back to this.
I can't hear you clearly again.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I think I can.
Okay, I want to draw you back. I know that you're a medical doctor, but this
Yes.
alternative medicine,
Yes.
I mean, using herbs,
Yes.
is there any way? I know maybe after today, you call maybe pathologist or something pathologist.
Okay.
Is there any way? Because I think maybe that one can also help us to reduce cost. Do you see any sense out of nonsense I'm saying?
Okay. So the question is there any tradomedical? If I get your question right, is there any
Yes.
tradomedical uh,
Agbo.
app that is going to help? I mean, I said I'm not a tradomedical specialist, but I don't see any
Okay.
coming up in the future. As I said, probably they could be tradomedicals that could help to reduce complications as regards to disease, but not like preventing disease totally. It's a whole
Okay.
genetic manifestation, yeah.
That is the last question I want to ask about. Is there any age that some people said when you reach 20, you are outgrowing it? And I saw somebody that is 40 and the crisis later killed him at the age of 40 plus. Is there any age range?
It's manifests at all age groups. And if I get it right, the fact is that it manifests at all age groups, but people say that at a particular age, the risk of having crisis is rare. You understand? Which, I mean, I'm still looking for research as regards that, and I stand to be corrected. However, it can affect at any age group.
Said,
Can
okay.
affect at any age group. But as I said, the point is, though at a particular age, if I get it right, in the late 20s, the manifestation, the risk of having crisis is reduced.
It's
It
reducing.
doesn't mean you will not get crisis. There's the maximum
Mm.
in medicine which is never say never, meaning you never say it's impossible. You understand? It can still happen.
Okay. Okay, that means to say there is no any proof
Yeah.
that
I mean, they could probably be
uh,
there. I've not probably seen any research as regards that at this point.
okay. That is why we must look for money. Now money we must look for money because as our heart, maybe if we, do you have any friend that is what do you call their name so that they will know maybe I'm sorry their name.
No, I mean, well, people living with the condition, right?
No, I mean people. I'm still focusing on that harp.
Okay, tradomedicals. Okay, I don't
Okay, I
have
don't
any
very cool.
tradomedicals.
Do you have any?
No,
Okay.
I currently don't have anyone. I don't think I have any. But I know that there are some universities that they have professors in it, but I can't picture any of them. But yeah, they should be.
Okay. What about any pharmacist? Do you have any pharmacist friend we can still ask the question to?
Yeah,
Maybe
wait, I
the
think
next.
I could discuss with all my friends, friends. So I mean, they work hand in hand. Yeah, so they should be. But as I said, there's still a lot of room for research for this program. I mean, it's a whole lot.
Okay. Therefore, we are praying that God will help us as a nation, as individuals. So please, as many of you that know how many, because I think they have their day is around July or June. I saw the awareness. There is a day,
Oh, okay.
International Day for Sickle Cell.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
International
can't
Day
remember.
for Sickle. I can't remember the day, but I know it's not early of the year. I want to have those days. I'll go and check my diary and jot it down because every day, something like that, I'll be doing something as a
That'd
sensitization for it
that'd be
in
lovely.
different languages. Therefore, Doctor, we are good to have you.
But I
It's
think
a good one to.
March 30th, I think the World Doctors Day was March 30th. Today is World Health Day, April 7th.
Okay. Today, we are discussing
Yes.
about health.
So today is World
Thank
Health
you.
Day, but Doctors Day is March 30th. I can't remember the other days. Oh, there's World TBD. There are just many days.
Yeah,
There's World
there are
Diabetes Day, I
many
think
days.
sometime in November. There's World HIV Day, 1st of December.
December. That is December. I know that one
1st of
because
December.
I have a couple of things for HIV.
It's fine. All right. Thank you
Okay.
very, very much
And
for your
Doctor,
time. Yeah. Uh,
Doctor, I still want
okay.
to ask you a question.
Okay.
The last question I want to ask you before we close the show and still look for your own view, holistically view
Okay.
about the stage of our nation. Before we move to that one, I'm asking you two questions. In the health sector now, do you have any way forward? You have worked here. You've worked in city and also in villages. Do you have any way forward to advise, like now, maybe the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu is watching this show? Do you have, and some of our governors are watching this show, do you have any advice, way forward in the area of health generally to grow it? Even though if it's not going to be deep, a
It's a
phrase.
tough question. In hindsight, I would say that there's a lot to be done. I think first of all, let me address this with respect to what was posted yesterday as regards the House of Assembly trying to say doctors spend 5 years before they leave. I think that's not a primary issue. A primary issue is to ensure that there are policies to ensure that doctor stays. While if the doctor wants to leave, because there's no job security. I mean, there was a communique that came in quite recently about, I mean, I lost a senior colleague, you understand, in Delta State, he was shot and murdered. You understand? It was, yeah, that was many months ago. It was all over the news. It we finished from our school. So I feel that if they ensure that there's enough, I mean, there's job security, and you make the health sector habitable for all health workers, be it doctors, nurses, pharmacists, physiotherapists, you go a long way to change the narrative. So I feel policies should be in place to ensure that they are protected and our life is guarded. Then, aside that, I feel that a lot of reach out programs should be done and strengthening the local government, particularly the local government health sector. Because to be fair, a lot of people would want to practice down there because it's a whole lot of stress. Commuting to a village, for example, is a whole lot of stress. But why would you tell me to come to a village when there are no extra benefits? I don't know whether I get my point. I know it's a noble
I'm guessing
profession, but
you.
if you strengthen the healthcare in the rural areas, you would see people going to the rural areas and there will be less deaths down there. There will be a lot of things going on there. Strengthen the amenities there, ensure that there are lights in the hospitals, ensure that hospitals are working, general hospitals in villages, in local government areas are top notch, and make all the city hospitals to be more referral centers to manage complicated issues in patient care. You go a long way to actually change the narrative of the health sector in Nigeria. But I'll boldly say that I would want the government to push to the internal part, the rural areas of Nigeria. That's where there is a lot of needs where people cannot access essential healthcare. So that's just what I would say. What can you do to make it better? Ensure that it's enticing, it's applicable, and it's encouraging for people to practice, be it the nurses, the doctors, the even the healthcare assistants. That's all I can say. That's what I say.
Okay, thank you very much for pulling your leg sometimes. Thank you very much, Dr. Osas. I'm grateful to have you on the show. We can't stay long 24 hours. I think people will learn a lot from this. On our YouTube, follow us on our YouTube, The Voice, DE, The Voice 12. Follow on our Instagram, DE_voice 12. Follow us on our Twitter page, The Voice. Dr. Osas, I'm grateful. The last one is just a brief question. I know that you're not a politician. What is our face in diaspora? What is the, because I know that you guys, a lot of things is coming over there. What is the face of our nation in diaspora?
I don't think I can say much about that because I basically would not be able to say much, but I think the internet has been helpful to give us insight about what people view about the state of the nation post-election. But I feel that most people are not happy. That's going to be just my general comment. Most people are not happy. That's just
okay. That is just your own view.
That's
Truly, people may not be, but people are not. Some people are not happy. But my own advice for as many of you in diaspora, please be a good image over there, and not only that one. From my own view also, home is not built in a day, and do not let us set, because I stay on the internet much. I see a lot of words. Some people invite me to their Twitter space to come and speak. I see a lot of words of guys speaking diaspora, say I will do this, with that. Then. No, you are in diaspora. Some of your family, but remember your extended family are in Nigeria. Yes. We cannot burn this country. We'll never bring down this country, because my own view is that we should follow everything according to the constitution of the land. Go to court, what the law said, what the court said. Let us stick to it. We cannot get it in a day. Take it. But the outcome, this election has given a message to all politicians. In the history of this nation, you see a lot of politicians going down to the street, going down. They always do it before, but this one, they go down where mighty said the governor. You know, it's usual that governor return in a free will to Senate. You see it reduced. Some of them lost. You know that a senator that has been in Abuja for years, he lost.
Well.
Abuja lost to Ireti Kindibe. I'm still going to talk on that. Why does it? It's not that it did not work. It's not that it did not. But the movement, some movement is the one that make him lost the election. From my own view. Are you getting me? We pray that God will bless our nation. Please send prayer to Nigeria. Please speak good things about Nigeria. God bless you. Doctor, in this, it's good to have you, Doki.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
After the show, I think we'll still talk a little bit.
All right,
thank you for coming to the show. I'm grateful. I did not take this opportunity for granted. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless you. God bless your state. You are a blessing for our generation. God bless you. I remember I almost said the only son of his father, Ade Wale, aka Professor Wankio. Back for now, Doctor. Doki.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.